Howdy, my name is Nonat, and welcome to the second installment of the Pathfinder Spellbook. Today is going to be part one of a two-part entry? Basically, I'm going to be covering all of these spells available to first-level champions and clerics via their domain. These are the initial domain spells, and there is a lot of them. There's almost double the amount of domains as there are arcane cantrips, which is why I'm making this into two separate parts, because along with there being more of them, they are more detailed. A lot less of them are just deal some damage, and a lot more of them are very specific effects, so they take a little bit longer to talk about. So which is why I'm going to stop rambling, and we're going to get right into this with our first domain. The domain of air gives Pushing Gust, and right now it's worth stating that these spells, most of them are not great. I'm going to try to be optimistic. If I'm being open with you guys, this is my second time recording this, and the first time I recorded it, I was so overtly negative that it was the biggest pain in the ass to listen to. I was whining, I was complaining, so I'm going to try to see these in their best light. I will be talking bad about some of them, as well as the good and bad parts of all of them, but I'm going to try to keep it a little more positive. So starting off with the domain of air, we have Pushing Gust. It is a 2-action spell with a 500-foot reach, which is a long freaking range. You target one creature and give them a fortitude save. If they critically succeed their save, nothing happens. If they succeed their save, they are pushed 5 feet. If they fail their save, they are pushed 10 feet. And if they critically fail their save, they are pushed 10 feet and knocked prone. So this is one where it's hard to be a little bit positive, and I'm not going to force myself to call a bad spell good, because I honestly think Pushing Gust is a terrible spell. It's worth noting that focus spells, especially at the early levels, pretty much level 5 and below, you only get one focus spell per encounter, and after that you need to focus for 10 minutes to get that focus point back. Spending your one focus spell to make a long-range shove is not great, especially when paladins get Lay on Hands, which is hit point restoration and an armor class boost. I'm going to be comparing a lot of these to Lay on Hands, as Lay on Hands is sort of your box standard, this is what one focus point is worth. A little bit of hit points and some armor. And so comparing that is gonna be sort of my baseline. Like at Lay on Hands, I'm gonna be calling about a 3 out of 5 star focus spell, which is why Pushing Gust is a 1-star focus spell. It is a long-range shove on one target, which can be resisted. The only time you see any real effectiveness from this is with a crit fail on the fortitude save, as that will knock them prone, which is very helpful. Maybe you're nowhere near the battlefield and you see your fighter is fighting someone, and if you can get them to critically fail that fortitude save and knock them prone, you just gave your fighter a huge advantage. But the problem is, other than that, it's not going to do much. You know, shoving around the battlefield, it can be helpful, maybe you can push someone out from hiding, but overall, it's not that helpful. If your GM lets you really play with this in roleplay, and lets you use it on things like doors or windows, or create a fake wind blowing through the leaves of trees, it could be a little bit better. But rules as written, it can only be used on a creature. It says one creature. So rules as written, 1 out of 5 stars, could definitely be better. Moving on. For the domain of ambition, we have Blind Ambition, and this is a cool spell. This one's, again, a little bit weak, but very, very fun. You basically cast it on one creature 60 feet away, and they get a will save. If they critically succeed their will save, nothing happens. Typical. Even on a successful will save, they take a -1 penalty to resist being coerced. What that means is, in the heat of combat, let's say you're fighting a group of bandits, and you see there have already been some infighting. You can, normally, even in a normal situation, you can try to coerce them. Like, your friends are gonna betray you, man, you need to look out for number 1, you can just take all the money and get out of here. And you can try to coerce them, which is its own action in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Blind Ambition, on a success or a failure, gives them penalties on resisting that coercion. -1 on a success, -2 on a failure. And if they crit fail, you don't even need to convince it. They will instantly start looking out for themselves, their number 1 ambition, and if you cast it on said bandit, and they crit fail, they will probably run away, maybe steal stuff from the rest of the band at camp and book it out of there, and it can really cause some cool infighting in the middle of encounters. In roleplay, it's very cool. You could use this in just conversation encounters to really get an edge on people. The only downside of that is it does have verbal components and somatic, so people will be able to see you casting it, and when their friend starts acting weird, you might get a little bit But I like Blind Ambition. It's a cool spell, really cool options, 3 out of 5 stars, just for being so different. Moving on. Face in the Crowd from the City domain is a lot of fun. Effectively, you can target yourself, and blend into a crowd as long as they are of similar type to you. So if you're a medium-sized humanoid amongst other medium-sized humanoids, you can cast Face in the Crowd, and for 1 minute you get +2 to stealth and deception bonuses to go unnoticed in the crowd. You can literally pull an Assassin's Creed Ezio and just keep your head down, but magically blend in better. It's really cool. It doesn't even have verbal components, it's just somatic, so as long as nobody sees you performing, your Naruto ninja hand signs, you'll blend in. It's awesome, it's great for roleplay, won't really be useful in combat, but not all spells have to be, and then once you're level 5, and it gets heightened to 3rd level, you can cast it on up to 10 creatures, so your entire party, as long as you all look similar, you can all just blend in together. So you have that classic Scooby-Doo, you're running away from the guards, you hit the trade district, and you just make your way into the crowd, you cast Face in the Crowd, and you all just kind of sit there twiddling your thumbs as the guards race past you and get out of there. It's really cool. I like it. 4 out of 5 stars, just for such a fun, cool idea. So in the confidence domain, we have Veil of Confidence. This might be my least favorite focus spell of all of the ones we're going to talk about. You surround yourself in a veil of confidence. You reduce your frightened condition by 1 if you have one, and whenever you would become frightened, reduce that by 1. Sounds pretty good, You become resistant. This lasts a full minute. If you're already frightened 1, you can get rid of it, and anything that afflicts frightened 1 for that minute doesn't affect you. It's really good. Except this spell has a downside. If you critically fail your save against a fear effect, you get frightened 1 higher than it would have given you. So, let's say that generic monster has an intimidation effect that normally inflicts frightened 1, and if you crit fail, you get frightened 2. Well, if you have Veil of Confidence, and you crit fail, you're getting frightened 3, because your Veil of Confidence cracks, and you become more frightened than if you hadn't cast it at all. It's not good, it's just worse than Aura of Courage. Let me look this up so I know the exact statistics here. Okay, my mistake. I was thinking of Aura of Courage, the champion feat. Bards get Inspire Courage, which gives a +1 bonus against fear effects. But at 4th level, 3 levels into the campaign, you're level 4, you could just take the Aura of Courage feat, which passively, you don't even need to cast this, passively reduces your frightened condition by 1 whenever you are affected by it, and at the end of your turn, you reduce it by 1 again, and for your allies. Why would you cast a spell that lasts 1 minute on yourself and has a downside when you could just have a passive that is constantly doing this, always? Yeah, and this is in the confidence domain. I just don't know why they put that downside on there. It would have been okay. It wouldn't have been great, but it would have been okay if it didn't have that critical failure downside. But man, does that make it awful. Like 1 out of 5 stars. I'm sorry, I'm gonna try not to be so negative, but good lord, this one is so bad. I'm so sorry to any confidence domain champions or clerics out there. The creation domain is fun. They get Splash of Art. It's a cute one, it's got some nice effects. The only downside is that it's random. In a 5-foot area, up to 30 feet away, you cause a deluge of colorful paint or artisan tools to appear. So, it can be paints, it can be easels, it can be anything. It's pretty much implied that it's usually paints, but it's a cool effect. You roll a d4, and everything in the area makes a will save, and depending on their result, a different effect occurs depending on what you rolled on the d4. It's worth noting that on all of these results, even a normal success completely negates the effect. So they have to fail or crit fail for anything to happen. I'm not going to go over all the crit fail and fail differences, but effectively if you roll a 1, everything that appears is white, and it dazzles targets that fail their will save. If you roll a 2, it's all red, and it enfeebles everything that makes their will save, enfeebling 2 if they crit fail. If you roll a 3, everything is yellow, and it frightens everything, frighten 2 if it's a crit fail. And if you roll a 4, everything is blue, and it makes things clumsy. So, it's a cool ability. I don't know if it's worth a focus point and 2 actions. I feel like 2 actions might be a bit steep. If this was a 1-action spell, I think it'd actually be pretty good. But just by all your other options available to you for 2 actions in combat, it's tough to justify this. But it's still a fun spell and can have some cool roleplay opportunities. 2 out of 5 stars. Not useless, not my favorite. Pretty fun. Cloak of Shadow. Now, this is another really cool focus spell. 1 action, somatic, you don't even need to make there's no verbal component, you don't need to speak anything. And you choose a target, a willing target, and drape it in shadow. So it becomes surrounded by this 20-foot diameter cloak of just shadowy mist. It doesn't completely obscure them, but it makes them concealed, so they're harder to see. And you can use the hide action while using this. But the cool part comes with what you can do with it. The target who is wearing this metaphorical cloak, it's not a real cloak, but they can touch this spell. And they can drop it at any time. It lasts 1 minute, but they can shed the cloak and put it down and keep running, and the cloak will stay there. So if you're being chased while wearing this cloak, like through the woods, you can run, drop it somewhere, and book it in the opposite direction, and from a distance, the people chasing you, your pursuers, will just see the giant cloak of shadow they've been chasing, and they'll likely go right for that, which is really cool. So you can use it as a distraction. If anybody else tries to put it on, it instantly vanishes. It can only be used by the original target. So it's a really cool idea. It's the darkness domain, so I don't know how often you'll be able to use that in a campaign, because I believe it's mostly evil gods that use that. But it's still a really cool one with some really cool opportunities. 3 out of 5 stars, just for really neat roleplay opportunities. The death domain gets Death's Call, and it's fine. If you see somebody die, you can use your reaction that turn, which is good. Like, clerics especially don't usually get a lot of opportunities to use reactions, unless they have a shield, since not everybody gets attacks of opportunity in this system. It's cool to have a reaction on your cleric. If a character dies, a living creature, even an ally, if they die, you gain temporary hit points equal to their level plus your spellcasting mod. So, you're level 1, your fighter kills a goblin, that's level 0. You gain 3 free hit points, temporary hit points. They're on top. Even if you're at full health, you're still gaining this buffer, which is not bad. And if they're undead, you get double that. So if you kill a level 0 zombie, you get 6 hit points. Not bad at all at first level. They last for 1 minute or until they're depleted. That's pretty much it. Plain and simple. It's nice. When I originally rated this, I think I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. I'm going to give it a 4. Just because I didn't put weight into the fact that it's a reaction. And clerics especially do not have many reactions. I'm sure there are some spells that are reactions, but this is nice. This will be helpful the whole way through. Even if you're level 10, if you kill a level 9 living creature, that's, probably 13 hit points for free on just a reaction. That's a free, decently sized heal that'll reduce some damage you'll take later. You can't cast it on anybody else. It's only on yourself, but it's a nice way to protect yourself. Most encounters don't last more than a minute, so once the first character goes down, you get a nice little shield. So, no complaints here. 4 out of 5 stars. Really decent one. Only downside is that it's the death domain, which, similar to the other one, is evil. So I don't think you'll get many opportunities to use it, but if you can, I'd try it. Another evil domain, and I feel so bad because this is another one of my favorite focus spells. The destruction domain gets Cry of Destruction. On its own, you target everything in 15-foot cone in front of you, and they all get to make a basic fortitude save, and they take 1d8 sonic damage. So it's a basic fortitude save. So if they fail, they take the damage, crit fail is double, success is half, crit success is none. That's it. But if you use this after already damaging something this turn, which it's a 2-action spell, so you basically have to attack something first, because most damaging spells are not 1 action. But if you've damaged something at all, and then use Cry of Destruction, that 1d8 goes up to a d12. The damage potential on this is insane. Let's picture a perfect best case scenario. You're fighting, and there's 3 enemies in front of you. 3 little kobolds in front of you. And you're level 1. And you make a strike. And you hit the first kobold for 4 damage with your mace. Your strength stat isn't that high. You hit it for 4 damage. And then you cast Cry of Destruction. They all make a basic fortitude save. Let's say they all crit fail. and you roll a 12 on your d12. Like I said, this is a best case scenario, but that is 36 sonic damage total, hitting all 3 of them in one spell at level 1. That is amazing. That kind of AoE. That is more damage than Electric Arc on a wizard. And every 2 levels, this goes up by a damage die. So, at level 3, it's 2d12. Even at 3rd level, that is insane. This is good all game. Your 7th level, that's 4d12. It's not going to one-shot anything, but that is really good damage. Even single target. Being able to do that in a cone is incredible. I love this spell. 5 out of 5 stars. The only downside is that it's freaking Destruction Domain, so good luck finding a god that'll let you use that. And where there are good spells, there are bad spells. The Dreams Domain gives you Sweet Dream. It takes 1 minute. No, sorry, it doesn't take 1 minute to cast. It's 3 actions to cast. So you're like, okay, maybe it's useful. And you have to target 1 willing creature, so one of your allies. And you put them to sleep. They willingly fall unconscious. They sleep for 1 minute. You have to make them sleep for 1 minute, and they will gain 1 of 3 benefits that you choose. You can either give them +1 to intelligence checks, +1 to charisma checks, or +5 foot bonus to speed. Pretty decent bonuses, but they last 10 minutes. This is so situational. The bonuses are so small, and it's such a long setup that, so imagine you have to go talk to the mayor. You're talking to the mayor, and you want to get a nice reward, so we're like, okay, Bard, we need your charisma at top notch. So, we are going to ramp up your charisma, give you that extra +1. So now, I'm going to need you to sleep for 1 minute. And then you go through that. And then you wake him up and you shake him awake and you go, okay, get in there now. You have less than 10 minutes to go talk to him, get our reward, try to roll good. Maybe the +1 won't even, and it's all just a +1. I wish it was +2. That would make it better. Or make it last 30 minutes. 10 minutes is such an awkward amount of time in role-playing. And you just can't get a lot done in 10 minutes. And it's such a long, not long, but it's an awkward setup, It's literally, okay, hold on, party. Let me put the bard to sleep for a full minute. Then I'll wake him up. Then he can go inside. And it's like, where can you do this? Even if you're gonna go in, you can't do this in the middle of the street. You can't just put your bard to sleep in the middle of a busy street. You'd have to, go into a back alley, slump him against a wall. It's such an awkward setup. And the problem is it's so close to being a really cool spell. Maybe if it lasted half an hour, and you could argue that, it'll last 10 minutes, because that's how long it takes to get another focus point back, so you can't spam it. But if you cast it again, even if you have 2 focus points, you can't cast it on 2 people. If you cast Sweet Dream again, the previous Sweet Dream stops working. I don't know why, but it does. It's just, if you cast this spell again, the effects of any previous Sweet Dream you cast end. So you can't even affect more than 1 person with this. And it doesn't get heightened to affect multiple people. That would be a cool way to make this better, If at 3rd level you can affect 2 people, and every 2 levels when it gets heightened, it affects 1 extra target. Because if you're level 10, and you can cast this on 5 people, yeah, cast it on your whole party. Everyone gets a +1 to charisma checks. That's really good. But it's always single target, and it's only ever 1 at a time. It's a weird choice, and I'm wondering why they balanced it this way. So I gotta give it a 1 out of 5 stars. It's just so specific and awkward to set up. I don't see this ever getting used that often in game without slowing things down. But maybe you can find a use for it. I hope you can. Maybe I'm overlooking something. But for now, 1 out of 5 stars. Let me know in the comments below if you like this spell. Get that algorithm bump. I see you, commenters. You the real MVPs. The Earth Domain gets Hurtling Stone. And when I first read this spell, I'm like, okay, it's basically just a simple damage spell. Okay, cool. And then I realized it's just a sling. You evoke a magical stone and throw it, with your god's presence guiding your aim. Make a spell attack, instead of a ranged attack, against the target. It deals 1d6 plus your strength. You know how much a sling does? 1d6. You don't get your strength, so I guess that's a nice bonus, but you're spending your 1 focus point per encounter to use your spell attack, instead of your ranged attack, and add your strength to a sling. And at first I'm like, oh cool, crit success deals double damage. And yeah, that's how attacks work. So it took me a minute to be like, oh, Yeah, this is just a sling that adds your strength mod. It does get better than a sling. Every 2 levels, it gets heightened by 1d6. So once you're level 3, it is better than a sling. So it'll start dealing 2d6, 3d6, 4d6. But it's never going to be great, you know? 2d6 at level 3, it's fine, you know? It's okay damage. And I guess you could think, like, this is a solid 3 out of 5 stars, because it's right down the middle. Comparing it to Lay on Hands restores 6 health. This deals about 6 damage, give or take a few points. Yeah, on average, it's dealing about 6, if you roll a 3 and add 3. And, you know, every 2 levels, they both go up by either 1d6 for Hurtling Stone, Lay on Hands goes up by healing for 6. So this is that right down the middle, good attacking focus spell. It's not amazing, but it'll get the job done, you know? I am gonna actually I was about to move on, but then I'm gonna drop it down to a 2 out of 5 stars, because this counts against your multiple attack penalty. So if you do this, and then make a normal attack, your normal attack is taking -5. So, yeah, costing a focus point, like, 'cause that would have been an amazing buff. Imagine that. You can use this, and then make a physical attack without taking the -5. That would be really cool. Almost like Exacting Strike as a fighter, if you miss. The fact that it counts against your multiple attack penalty makes this so much worse. It's literally just a sling that you can use once per combat! Paizo! So the family domain gets soothing words, and before I actually read this, I got this confused with the soothe spell. I'm like, oh, dude, they get that as a focus spell? That's really good. It's not as good as heal, but, you know, it's an extra 1d10 heal with some bonus against some effects. That's not bad. And then I read soothing words and realized it was a different spell. And it sucks. You target one ally. They get +1 to will saving throws for 1 round. Also, you can counteract an emotion effect if they're affected by it. Oh, but don't worry, because at 9th level, it goes up to +2. No, I mean, I'm underselling the effect to counteract an emotional effect, especially if you're fighting things that do magical emotional effects and damage. That can be useful, just very situational, you know? So I guess it's good to have on your utility belt, but come on, it couldn't last, like, a number of rounds equal to the spell level, so like half your character level. I don't think that would have been overpowered. You know, at 3rd level, and it starts lasting 2 rounds, and then 3 rounds at 5th level. But 1 round for +1 against will saves, +2 against emotion, and those don't stack. So you don't get +3 against emotional will effects. It's +1 against all will saving throws, and then increases to +2 against emotion will saving throws. I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5 stars because of the counteracting emotion effect, but come on. 1 round for, because for the most part, you're not even gonna use this. You know, +1 to will saving throws, maybe if you know they're being affected by a persistent damage that relies on a will saving throw, then it could be useful to give them that little advantage. But using one of your action, I don't know, maybe it's not that bad. It's only 1 action. Maybe I'm over-exaggerating. I don't know. This seems so situational, though, especially in higher levels, you know? Imagine you're this 8th level cleric, or 8th level champion of the family domain, and your friend is like, oh god, this primordial emotional damage is eating me away from the inside. Cleric, do something! This is my moment. This is what I was born to do! +1. It's not great. Meanwhile, in the Fate domain, Read Fate is so much fun. This spell was made so that you and your DM can just have fun together. It has a sort of long description. I'm going to sum it up for you. You say, I'm going to read blank's fate. I'm going to read Tor's fate. You can't cast on yourself because you can never discern your own fate, but I'm going to cast party member Tor's fate. Read fate on Tor. And the DM goes, okay, let me roll a dice secretly. The DM doesn't get to tell you what it is. And then he rolls. And on a 6 or below, he just says, inconclusive. That's all you get. But if he rolls higher than a 6 or higher, he gives you 1 word that is meaningful in their future fate for that day. Or next hour, if you're actively adventuring. So, you know, you could be about to go into a cave full of goblins, and you're like, hold on. I cast Read Fate on Tor. The GM rolls, and let's just say he rolls, a 16, and he just goes, blood. And then you as players get to go, oh, what does that mean? Is he going to spill blood? Is he going to be bleeding? What does it mean? And you just, it's fun for you, because you get that tiny little bit of information about what's about to happen. It's fun for the DM because they can pick the most obscure word. Maybe blood means they're going to find a waterfall of blood and has nothing to do with the goblins they're about to fight. You can just completely turn your players in whatever direction you want, and the players love it because they think they're getting this nice little smidgen of precious information. It is so much fun. 5 out of 5 stars. Amazing, amazing roleplay focus spell. And because it's out of combat, you'll never use this in combat. You can always just focus right afterwards for 10 minutes to get your focus point back. So fun. The Domain of Fire gets Fire Ray. Probably the most simplistic, but also most effective focus spell if you're looking for an attack. Fire Ray deals fire damage. You make an attack roll. If you beat their armor class, you deal 2d6. If you beat their armor class by 10 or more for a crit success, you deal 4d6, well, 2d6 times 2, and they catch on fire for 1d4 persistent fire damage. Really good. You know, a spell at first level that deals 2d6, pretty much once per encounter, that's amazing. And every 2 levels, that goes up by 2d6. So at level 3, you're hitting for 4d6 damage. And then if you get the crit success, you're effectively dealing 8d6 and lighting them on fire for 2d4 per turn. And both of those go up every 2 levels. Level 5, 6d6 and 3d4 persistent if you crit. It's amazing. The damage is incomparable to every other domain spell available to level 1 clerics and champions. If you need more damage, this is your spell. No ifs, ands, or buts. 4 out of 5 stars because it's so boring and basic, but it's just so effective. Unimpeded Stride from the Freedom Domain is probably the simplest focus spell, and it's really good. You free yourself of any magic restraints and move your full speed. It doesn't matter if you're on difficult terrain, it doesn't matter if anything is around you, it doesn't matter if your leg is broken and you are taking penalties to your max speed. You move your character's full speed and get out of any magical restraints that are a lower level than your spell. Granted, this means if you're fighting things that are higher level than you, and if you are casting Unimpeded Stride at 2nd level, and you're affected by a 3rd level immobilization, it won't work. But, if you cast it at 2nd level and you're fighting a druid who's casting something at 1st level that ensnares you, you can just say, nah. One somatic component, not even verbal, so even if they have completely muffled you, let's say, like, for some roleplay reason or whatever, they have immobilized you and covered your mouth. You can't use verbal components. Unimpeded Stride. You do your hand, you do the Macarena, and then the vines just let go, even on your broken leg. You sprint. Well, not sprint, but you move your full 25 foot, typically. 25 feet. Even if you are on the craggiest cliffs with no solid footing and a narrow little passage, with your broken leg, you just move your full speed. Doesn't matter. You can't fall. There's no difficult terrain as if you cast this spell. Great spell, super simple, lots of opportunities to use it. 4 out of 5 stars. Oh, Healing Domain. Healing Domain. You're usually the best one. Oh, you're usually so good in every other system for clerics. Healing Domain gets Healer's Blessing. You enchant a willing living creature for 1 minute, and for that minute, whenever they get healed, they heal 1 extra hit point. That's it. Spells that heal multiple times in 1 turn do not heal 1 extra hit point on every heal. So what this means is if you cast Healer's Blessing on your fighter, and you cast heal, you roll your 1d8 plus 8, and you add an extra 1 on top of that. And every 2 levels, the additional healing goes up by 2. So once you're 3rd level, you heal for 3 hit points. Once you're 5th level, it effectively matches your, every odd level, it matches your level in healing. It's not great. Let's say you're 9th level. Then you're casting, at higher levels, I suppose it kind of empowers your lower level healing. You can get away with a 1st level heal at 9th level, and I guess you'll be healing 1d8 plus 8 plus 9. So it's good, but with the way that Pathfinder 2nd Edition has bloated numbers in this game, the amount of extra hit points are never that great. If you're not using your focus spell for anything else, it's not bad. But let me once again compare this to Lay on Hands. Lay on Hands, at 1st level, restores 6 hit points, and gives +2 to armor class for a round. Healer's Blessing. Let's say you cast it. What are the odds that you are going to heal somebody 6 times in one encounter? We've been playing our campaign for the last 2 months, and the most heals that have gone off in one encounter has been, I think, 4 heals in one encounter. And they were on different people. What are the odds that you are going to heal the same person 6 times in one encounter to match the power of Lay on Hands? Let's heighten it. So now it's healing 3 extra, and Lay on Hands is healing for 12. You would still need to heal 4 times on the same person to match Lay on Hands. And I think in the late game, it might get better. Let's not forget that Lay on Hands gives +2 to armor class for a round. Let's just forget about that. We're just focusing on the healing. Let's look at, 9th level. 9th level, Lay on Hands is healing for 30 hit points. And Healer's Blessing is restoring 9. So, even then, you heal 3 times on the same character, it's still not as much as Lay on Hands. I guess you could call it insurance, because your heals will always be better, but I don't know. 2 out of 5 stars, it's just not good. Maybe you guys can see it in a different light than I can. I just feel like it's always just too weak. I feel like if it started at 2 hit points and then maybe even reduce the duration, I don't know. Most encounters don't last longer than a minute. Most encounters don't last 10 full rounds. But I don't know, maybe there's a way to balance it. I'm not here to balance spells, I'm here to review them. And by review, I mean give my own personal taste. If you love Healer's Blessing, it's your favorite focus spell, by all means, take it. It's fun, it's cool. It's a cool idea, giving all of your future healing rolls a bonus. But I just personally do not see it. So, 2 out of 5 stars from me. Alright, we got 2 more for this video. The Indulgence domain is hilarious. I love this spell. Overstuff. You target 1 living creature, and huge amounts of food and drink fill the target. It receives a full meal's worth of nourishment, but must attempt a fortitude save. If they critically succeed, they're unaffected, and it's just like they had a nice, healthy meal, and they feel great. If they succeed, they get Sickened 1, which is nice. Let me double check what that does. Yeah, so Sickened is great. Sickened is -1 to all of your rolls. Everything about you, including your DCs. So, your class DC that things need to roll against, that goes down too. That's a really good condition. If they succeed, they get Sickened 1, but they can spend 1 action to instantly get rid of it. So, not amazing, not terrible though, especially if you moved right after them, so you get to cast that, and everybody else gets to go against them. Really good. On a fail, it's still just Sickened 1, but typically you have to make a fortitude save to get rid of the Sickened condition. So, if they succeed their save, they can get rid of their Sickened 1 for 1 action automatically. If they fail, they have to spend an action and make the fortitude save to get rid of it. And if they critically fail, they become Sickened 2, which again, they have to get rid of with an action. And Sickened does not go away on its own. Some things will go down by 1 amount, like Enfeebled will go down once per round, I think. No, it doesn't. I was thinking of the Glimpse of Redemption, which lasts for 1 round. But some conditions do go down by 1 value per round, often like poisons do. But Sickened does not. So if they critically fail their fortitude save, they are Sickened 2. They are taking -2 to all checks and DCs, including the checks to get rid of the Sickened condition, and they have to spend an action to reduce it by 1. If they crit succeed, they reduce it by 2. But that's insane. So on average, they'll have to waste 2 actions getting rid of this condition. Plus Overstuff's bonus is as long as they are Sickened, they move 10 feet slower per move. That is huge. That is half of some creature's move speed. This spell is amazing support debuffing, and it's hilarious because you just make them so full that they're sick to their stomach. 5 out of 5 stars. On everything but a crit success, it does something. Fantastic spell. Also, it's for the Indulgence domain. I never said that, but I just love that there's an Indulgence domain. Final spell for today is Scholarly Recollection. It's advantage from 5th edition on a Recall Knowledge check. If you're just not sure you know what you're talking about, you can use Scholarly Recollection in your focus point to roll 2d20 and take the higher number. It's literally just advantage from 5th edition, but it's cool, you know. You can also use it when using Perception to seek. So if you're looking for something that's hiding, or that you lost, or whatever in the room, you can use Scholarly Recollection, roll 2d20, take the higher one. So it's good. It's nice little insurance on things that you're not quite sure about. If you absolutely need to recall knowledge on something, it's fantastic. It's another really good out-of-combat focus spell. So you can use this out of combat, lay on hands if you're a champion, in combat. It gives you that nice bonus. As long as you regenerate and recoup your focus points between combats and encounters, it's great to have this kind of utility. 4 out of 5 stars, you know? It's just good. There's no downside. It's not Veil of Confidence. It's pretty good. I like it. It's from the Knowledge domain. And that's what we're going to call it for this installment of the Pathfinder Spellbook. We have a lot more to go. We're a little over halfway, so the second part of this will probably be a little bit shorter. But thank you so much for your patience with this video. I'm sorry I couldn't get it out yesterday. I just had so much going on, and I just got so overwhelmed like I always do. I just need to get better at managing my time, you know. But again, to make it up for you, I will be releasing a bonus video this weekend starring a good friend of mine. We'll be talking about champions, and some ideas about them, but I'm not going to spoil everything. But it will be a little bit of homebrew, which is different for this channel, so I hope you're looking forward to that. So thank you so much for joining me. I will be releasing the second part of this Pathfinder Spellbook next Thursday. And then Tuesday will be the Cleric Guide. So it'll still be applicable, you know? We did the champions, and then some of the domain spells, and then we'll do the Cleric, and we'll do the rest of the domain spells. See, it all works out. There's a method to my madness. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe. It helps out in a bunch. And until next time, no nat ones.